Hey everyone, and welcome. So, you're gearing up for one of those big, high stakes chartered accountant or CMA interviews. You know the pressure's on, right? Well, today, we're going to break down the exact framework that'll help you walk in feeling confident and hopefully walk out with that offer. Let's dive right in.
Just let that one sink in for a second. Walk me through a time. It's a classic interview question. And honestly, it's designed to see how you think on your feet. But for so many people, this is the exact moment the interview starts to go off the rails. If your heart just did a little jump, trust me, you are not alone. So many incredibly talented professionals just freeze when they hear a question like this. And you know what the secret is? It's not because you don't know the answer. It's because most of us have been preparing for interviews in completely the wrong way.
And this, right here, is the core mindset shift you have to make. Think about it. We spend years prepping for exams by just memorizing standards and formulas. But an interview? That's not an exam. It's a test of how you think, and more importantly, how you apply that knowledge in the real world. It's a whole different ballgame, and that's the one we're here to win.
So here's our game plan. We've got 5 clear parts. We're going to start with that crucial mindset shift. Then we'll get into structuring your answers, acing those tricky technical questions, nailing the classic YS question, and finally, I'll give you a prep checklist for those last 48 hours. First up, the interview mindset shift. The absolute first step is knowing exactly what kind of game you're playing, because believe me, not all finance interviews are created equal. And this difference is huge. If you're interviewing for a CA role, you better believe you're going to get grilled on accounting standards, audit judgment, maybe some tax computation. But for a CMS role, the focus completely shifts. They care about process efficiency, how you communicate with stakeholders, and how comfortable you are with systems like SAP or Tally. Knowing this difference is your first major advantage. Okay, now that we've got the right mindset, let's talk about building the perfect structure for our answers. In this section, we're going to tackle those behavioral questions with a really simple but incredibly powerful framework, the STAR method. It stands for situation, task, action, and result. And look, this isn't just some clever gimmick. It's a bulletproof way to tell a compelling, concise story instead of just rambling. Let's actually put it to the test with that reconciliation question from the beginning. First up, S for situation. You got to set the scene. Don't just say, oh, there was a problem. Be specific. During the year-end closing for FY24, we found a 14 lakh rupee mismatch between our accounts receivable ledger and the bank statement. See, right away, you've established the stakes. Next, T for task. What was your specific role here? This is about ownership. My direct responsibility was to ensure the books were closed accurately within just 3 working days. This shows you're accountable. All right, now for the A, action. This is the heart of your story. What did you actually do? Well, you could say, so first, I traced all the entries to pinpoint the source of the error. Then, I prepared and posted the reversal for the incorrect entry. I also coordinated with our IT team to figure out the system glitch that caused it, and to wrap it all up, I updated our standard operating procedure to make sure this wouldn't happen again. That shows a methodical 360-degree approach. And finally, R for result. You have to close the loop. As a result, the books were closed on time, meeting our deadline. But more importantly, we improved the process to prevent similar errors in the future. Boom, you solved the immediate problem and you added long-term value. That is a perfect STAR story. All right, let's shift gears and talk about those technical questions. Now, this is where a lot of candidates think they can shine just by reciting standards from memory. But honestly, that's a trap. You've got to go beyond the textbook. Let's take a common technical question, right? Something about lease accounting. A weak answer will just define the standard, but a strong answer, the kind of answer that gets you the job, does something completely different. You can see the difference right here. A textbook answer just states facts. It recites rules. An impactful answer, though, it links those facts to the business. It doesn't just explain what the rule is, it explains why that rule matters to the P&L, to the balance sheet, and ultimately to the company's bottom line. So the single most crucial point is this. Always, always connect your technical knowledge back to business impact. You need to show them you're not just a number cruncher, you're a strategic business partner who understands how the numbers actually affect the business. Now for the question that they all ask, in some form or another. So, why do you want to work here?
This isn't just a casual question. It's a test of your research and your genuine interest. Honestly, your answer here can make or break the entire interview.
Let's just look at the difference here. The wrong answer is generic, and it's all about you. I'm looking for better work-life balance. The right answer is about them and how you fit in. I notice your firm specializes in mid-market M&A. I'm really passionate about building deep expertise in deal structuring, and your specific focus in that area is exactly what I'm looking for. One shows you want a job, the other shows you want this job.
Okay, we've covered the mindset, the structure, and the content. Let's bring this all together with a final, super actionable checklist for the 48 hours right before your interview. Think of this as your game plan. Here it is. Have at least 5 of those star stories ready to go, covering different scenarios like reconciliation or maybe a client conflict. Brush up on 3 recent regulatory updates. This is huge, so you can drop one into conversation and look incredibly sharp. Research the firm's recent clients and the sectors they focus on. And hey, if you're going for a senior CMS role, have a basic 30, 60, 90-day plan sketched out. This is how you go from just preparing to win. So if you only remember one single thing from our chat today, let it be this. A successful finance interview is not a test of your memory. It is a demonstration of your thinking and your ability to apply what you know to solve real-world business problems. Which brings us to our final question. With everything we've just covered, if your dream interview was just 2 days away, what would be your first move? The framework is yours now. Go make it happen.